I'm Terri Nunn.
I'm David Diamond.
I'm John Crawford. We are Berlin, and you are watching Eclectic Arts. Lucky for you.
Well, we are here at Woodland Park Zoo for Zoo Tunes 2019, and I'm here with the three original members of Berlin. How are you doing today?
Excellent.
Awesome, and you just finished your set about 15 minutes ago, and I got to say it was, as I mentioned earlier, my first time seeing you live, and you were phenomenal. I wish you were still out there playing right now, to be honest with you. And I really enjoyed your set. And so let's kind of get right into it. You have a new album out that dropped last Friday.
Yes.
Transcendence. Please tell me about the album and kind of the whole. I understand there's some upheaval that kind of came along to get the album together through an upheaval in terms of personal things that some of the members were wrestling with, and everything that kind of went into the album, please.
Why don't you tell the story this time?
I'll tell the story. So it started for me when Terri and the new guys in Berlin, who are not really so new anymore, came near where I live in Truckee, California to play. And I called Terri and said, "Can I come and see you?" And so I went, saw her play. We started doing a few more shows.
She kind of liked it.
She kind of said, like, "Yeah, will you come up and do a song?" And I came up and we did a song, and then we did a few songs. And then I was telling John, I called him up and said, "Hey, guess what I've been doing?" And then John and I started talking again because we hadn't been in touch for a while. John was going through a bad divorce at the time. We started talking about that. And I was like, talk to Terri, you got to come to these shows, Eventually John came to the shows. And then that sort of segued into John showing up and doing some of the things. And then we said, hey, what if we tried to do some music together? And then like 17 or 18
As
years
we always
later,
did.
Transcendence came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how have things changed from the early days 40 years ago in terms of technology to what you're using today to record your albums?
This is for probably him more than me. Computers. It's simple as that. It's something you can do digitally. It fascinates me because you have to have absolutely no musical ability with an instrument to be able to be creative, which is, to me, awesome, because there's kids out there, I shouldn't say just kids, everyone can sit down with a program on a computer and make music and not know how to play a note on another instrument.
Wow.
So everything is opened up to a lot of people to be really creative, and it helps me too, because when I do write with computer programs, I dumb myself down intentionally and just kind of find ways to just use the technology. It's really fun.
Okay, and I know that I was watching an interview earlier where you were talking about the technology kind of forced you to be creative early on, maybe the lack of technology, depending on what era we're talking about. Can you kind of elaborate on that?
That was cool, you said.
Yeah, it was back in the day when we first did Pleasure Victim. We didn't have access to really sophisticated technology for money reasons, and for the fact that it was not, what we've got today was just not invented yet. And so you had these boundaries that forced you. It's like, this is the only synthesizer you're going to have, and these are the only kinds of
You
sounds
only
that
have
it comes
these
up.
sounds.
Yeah.
There's 5 of them.
Yeah, and you've
you've
got
to write a song.
make a career out of
Right.
this. And not everything can't sound the same, so you've got to like push the envelope. You've got to be
Right.
creative with different sounds, different effects, different ways of differentiation, because you couldn't rely on just the core sounds. That's totally different today. Today it's like, if you're looking for a snare drum sound, you open a folder and there's 14,000 snare drums, and then you spend the next 7 days auditioning all the snare drums, and then you get to the point where you've chosen the best snare drum and you can't even remember what you were working on. So it's
The inspiration's
really
gone because
completely.
you spent 4
But
days trying to
it's
find
the
a
best
snare.
snare drum sound you've ever heard in your life. And I think it's just, creativity is different. Kind of like what John was saying about, like, it opens it up for a lot of people who are not necessarily of a musical background. But at the same time, for those of us who do have a musical background, we have to rethink it, because it can be a rabbit hole of just like taking you. And I think actually I attribute the length that it took to do Transcendence to that, where there's no boundary. There's no recording studio. Like you've got 2 weeks in the recording studio and then you're done.
And the
We
recording
can change.
studio's, $100,000 a week.
Yeah.
So we had a limit. Now there's no limit because the recording studio's in our house.
Right,
So
right.
it could take forever. It doesn't matter.
You kind of have to know when.
That's
to
why it takes
just
10
say
years
it's-
to make a
it's
record
done.
now for everybody.
Right. But it's a lot easier. Does that make any sense?
Well,
Yes.
Let me give you the opposite example. They probably can't hear your viewers, but that OMD is playing in the background. These guys built their own synthesizers. They were so early in the game. They were lucky to come up with one snare drum sound because they were seeking to make one. Oh, we got one. And it's not like judge it and go, this is a horrible. We're not going to get another one. They were just working as, oh, I got
We got
one.
one.
Let's go.
Let's do
Right,
it.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Right.
And they were totally relying on creativity.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Once they got their snare drum sound going or their bass sound or whatever they were working on.
Right.
Okay, and you already kind of touched on it. So with the music industry's changed so much. I mean, and you talked about recording studio costs versus now recording in your apartment or your home. In terms of where you make your money from, you have to have different revenue streams. You can't count on album sales because there really aren't any. If you're looking at Spotify and all the streaming services, they're paying next to nothing to the artists. So what are you looking for when it comes to the revenue streams here in 2019 for Berlin?
Well, now the main revenue streams are live because that can't be replaced.
And we're
So-
baristas at Starbucks also. We do that.
On the side, you got your green apron somewhere around here.
That's a lie. But yeah, I mean, live is now. It used to be where you made the record and you would play to make the record sell. Now it's reversed. Now you make the record as a calling card to get people to the shows. I heard that No Doubt on one of their tours gave people a key USB port with all of their records on it, including the latest record, that they could have for free so that they would come to the shows, because the shows are where the revenue is for artists now.
Wow, for myself, I'm 49, and I miss going to record stores. And I know your family owned three.
We had 3 record
And
stores.
you also had to kind of work for your music. You couldn't just, click a mouse pad and that kind of thing. But it was kind of nice. You were proud of the fact that, hey, I found this that nobody else has found.
Yeah.
And you can show it to all your friends if you're nice to them. And maybe if you're not nice, you kind of hoard it and hide it from them.
Right.
But I miss
Yeah.
that kind of thing because, I don't download and I don't stream. So I'm kind of a dinosaur. So if people don't put a CD out or vinyl or something, I have to kind of rely on other means, which I don't like to do. But I also know I'm in the minority. It's becoming more and more about instant. They want it now and they want all of it, and maybe they'll come to the show, maybe they won't, or they'll watch it on YouTube and think that's the concert experience, which we all know is not the concert experience at all. But kind of switching gears a bit, so with it being 40 years of Berlin, actually by a little bit over 40 years actually.
Not for me. I joined in 2019. I mean, in
79?
1979.
Yeah, okay. What are some of the things that stand out? I mean, that's kind of a broad question, but there's got to be certain things through all of those 40 years that you're like, I remember that time we played the US Festival, or I remember that time we did this.
Was
Yes,
huge.
that's rules. Good.
Huge.
Yeah.
That will never happen again, ever. He's still a friend, Steve Mosiak, and he lost $9 million on that
Wow.
tour, on that package, because he didn't know how to do it, and he didn't care. He had so much money, and still does. He has even more money now. But he said, "It's my party, and I want to do it the way I want to do it, and I want a heavy metal day, and I want a new wave day, and I want a David Bowie day, and you're on the David Bowie day, so I'm doing it." And it happened, and it was massive, and it was. On our day, there was David Bowie, U2, The Pretenders, Joe Walsh, Stevie Nicks. Who else? Oh, no, not on our day. They were on New Wave Day. I don't know why we were put on the David Bowie Day, and I loved it because that was my hero. So yeah, I mean, it was an amazing experience that will never happen again.
Okay.
250,000 people at our show. I mean, they literally went over the horizon. You couldn't see the end of the people because there were too many.
Wow.
It was fantastic.
Okay, and kind of speaking of crowds and large crowds in this case, Terri, I know for many years when you sing "Take My Breath Away," you've been going out in the audience just like you did today. Where did that come from? Where did that idea come from? And do you plan on doing that just as long as you continue to sing the song?
It came from Courtney Love. I went to a concert of hers. She was opening for Marilyn Manson. It was a great both of them were ridiculously good. And she got on the shoulders of somebody. She didn't go out in the crowd because it was a stadium. So I don't know if she was afraid or it was just too many people. But she went out a certain amount, like in the front, on this guy's shoulders. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So I stole it. And as a matter of fact, we're covering her because she just covered us. So we're covering her now. We're doing Celebrity Skin in our own shows right now.
Okay, awesome. And to kind of wrap this up, what do you guys have planned for the immediate future and also the far future? What's coming up for Berlin?
What's coming up for us, John?
Touring!
Tomorrow's Montana.
Montana's
Yeah,
coming
That's
up.
all I know.
32
right now.
city
Okay.
tour in America, and then we go to Europe.
Yeah.
5 countries, November and December. So it's a lot of playing, and that's what I do this for. I love playing.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much for taking the time, and everybody,
Mark.
everybody check out them out on the road, and also pick up Transcendence, stream it, download it, buy it.
Yeah.
Support the
Connect
artist.
with us on Facebook
Very
and Instagram.
cool.
Let us know what you think of it.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.